Tech for Senior, episode 96, January the 24th. 96, four more and we're 100, Hewie. Oh my gosh. Can you believe it, eh?
It's unreal. We thought it'd last, 4 or 5 weeks, and then we'd be done with it.
Yeah. Well, it's everyone that supports us. I mean, we've got 81 people here all watching us, waiting for a great show, and we're not going to let them down. We're going to have a really great show today. You're probably wondering where Bob is. Well, he had a scheduling change, so Bob is not here today, but he will be probably on our Thursday show this week. And then, of course, here next week. So I've got Ray on the admissions there. Ray, are you letting everyone in, or is everyone okay, or what's happening over there on admissions?
I'm letting in everyone that I like.
Very good. So for those of you, this is Tech for Senior. Welcome, everyone. We do appreciate you coming, and thanks so much. As you know, this is being broadcast over to YouTube. So thank you for watching on YouTube. If you're some of the people over there watching, that's great. The show's a little bit different on YouTube. We'll be going for about 50 minutes. And then just before Ray's segment, we will be, music segment, we'll be stopping the new YouTube broadcast. If you want to come over, we've got 82 in the room now. So if you want to come over and join the Zoom meeting, then we're happy to have you for the Q&A. So that would be, so just let you know about that. As you know, we also broadcast a Thursday show, which is very popular. So we're happy with that. And not only that, but we'll be talking a lot today about podcasting. But of course, we have our own Tech for Senior podcast now, which also airs, and that's doing quite well. So 2 shows and a podcast. So we are a busy group. I wanted just to let everyone know about last week. I talked about our coffee fund. For those of you who just to give everyone an update on this, what we have at Tech for Senior, there's about $1,000 a year in licensing fees. It's all basically licensing fees, and so we are. So we do a fundraising. Well, last year we decided what we were going to do. We didn't really know, and then we came up with the coffee fund idea. And wow, the response was incredible. Like within 3 weeks, we had our budget arranged of about $800. It all came in, and we didn't have to talk about it for the rest of the year. So this year, we set the budget $1,000. And last week, I want to thank the following people so far that have donated. There's Tony Pisa, Dick Vogel, John Roy, Sunday Ruth, and Tom Euler. Thank you so much for your generous donations. And we will, so we're up to about 11% of our goal, which is $1,000. So if you could, it's just, if we just get it, and I'll be mentioning this each week until we get to our maximum goal, and then it's just done for the year, and we don't have to worry about it, and we can pay the bills, which is always nice. Now, Hewie, what are we doing on Thursdays? We're doing something on Thursday. What's
we're doing two things.
Are we? What's happening on Thursday?
Yeah, we're doing the Tech for Senior live in the morning, which is actually 9 o'clock your time and noon my time.
Yeah.
And then at 2 o'clock my time, 11 o'clock your time, we do Learning Chromebooks.
Right. Learning Chromebooks this week, eh?
And I'm going to be away, but I'm going to try to log on at the Future of Education Technology conference in Orlando. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in the press room, and I'm going to try to do both programs from there. So it's going to be a challenge to see if I can even get out from the Orange County Convention Center or not. But let's hope I can, and I'll be on with you.
Now, if people have registered before, they don't have to re-register, right?
That's correct. And they should have already received an email this morning, and they'll get another reminder probably Wednesday that it has their unique link to log on to the Learning Chromebook. But you do have to register. And if you don't know what that link is to register, go to www techforsenior.com, and you can get the address to go and click to register.
Yeah, there's actually a button on the site that you just click the button.
Is it? Okay.
And register. And we don't want your money. We don't want your email. It's all free. We just want to know who you are so we can send you some email and follow up on when we publish the show. And if you can't make it, we also record it and it's available on our YouTube channel as well. Let's introduce everybody. I just talked to Hewie. Of course, Hewie is co-hosting with me. And of course, normally at this time, I'd introduce Bob, but Bob's not here. So we're going to go and introduce Ray Baxter. Ray, how the heck are you doing?
I'm doing very well today and looking at beautiful weather in the mountains here, already up to 44. So we're going to have a nice day today. Hardly ever below freezing in the daytime.
There you go. There you go. Now, back with that, like you can't keep a good man down, right? And so it's now so nice to see Dewey here today. Do you want to say hello, Dewey? And Dewey is going to have a segment for us next week. He is, yeah. So that's good. Thank you, Dewey. Do you want to say hello?
Yes, greetings, everyone. I'm doing pretty well and catching up on things. So I thought I might as well do a tech talk, and you'll see it next Monday morning.
That's great. We're looking forward to that. Thanks a lot, Dewey. And Bill James. Bill, you're looking there all smiles. What are you smiling about?
Oh, it's just a nice day today. We have 53 here. It's going to get a little bit warmer, but yeah, I'm just glad to be here as always.
Excellent, excellent. I think I've covered everyone. So today we have some interesting. We have a great show for you today. I think you'll find it really interesting. And one of the things that a news article that came out this last couple of days, and I thought I'd just bring this up because it does have some bearing on what we're going to talk to you today, is about Canon. Canon is, as you know, is a camera manufacturer, and Canon is closing its big factory in China. It's ZHUHAI. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that, but it's a large lens manufacturing plant in China. Now they have about 4 other sites around the world, but of course, with digital cameras in phones, the demand for digital SLRs is certainly falling like crazy. So people are just using their cameras now. So with the demand decreasing, of course, they're cutting their production of lenses for their cameras. So, however, next week I'll be talking about taking your DSLR or your old. If you have a single lens reflex and it uses film, forget it. It's too old. But if you have a digital one, you can hook it to your computer and use it as a webcam. And I'm going to tell you how to do that next week. So anyway, so we'll talk about that in the show today as well. I think we better get going. It's about 9:09. This is usually when Bob starts to bug me and say, "Hey, stop talking," and let's get on with it. So I have his security, his roundup all ready to go, and let's get going.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending January 21st, 2022. Zero-click zoom flaw now patched. Natalie Silvanovich of Google's Project Zero bug hunting team found and reported 2 zero-click vulnerabilities in video conferencing platform Zoom. Both flaws opened the door to attackers taking control of a victim's devices and servers without the victim having to do anything. Many people believe they are protected simply because they are cautious in the use of their devices, commented Avast security evangelist Louis Carones. This is the best example to show that anyone can be compromised without interaction from the user side. This is why it is so critical to update all our apps to make sure any known security hole is patched. To exploit the Zoom flaw, an attacker would have to have had to target Zoom accounts that are connected through Zoom contacts. After contacting the company, Silvanovich said Zoom was very responsive and supportive of her work. Zoom fixed the flaw and released a security update for the customers on November 24th. For more on this story, see Wired. Europol takes down VPNlab.net for cybercrime. A joint effort among 10 countries and Europol has taken down VPNlab.net for aiding and abetting cybercriminals on an international scale, according to a Europol press release. The virtual private network service was being used in support of serious criminal acts, such as ransomware deployment and other cybercrime activities. In a coordinated manner, law enforcement authorities from all participating countries seized and disrupted the 15 servers around the world that hosted the VPN service. Visitors to VPN Lab's website are currently greeted with a notice that reads, in part, law enforcement has now gained access to VPNlab.net servers and seized the customer data stored within. The investigation regarding customer data of this network will continue. Apple and Google oppose antitrust legislation. As the U.S. House Judiciary Committee reviews legislation aimed at loosening big tech grip on consumers, Apple and Google are loudly stating their objections to the bills, while smaller companies and startups are voicing their support. The American Innovation and Choice Online Act would prevent big tech from favoring their own services over others, and the Open App Markets Act would allow for more competition on app stores. Apple and Google complained that the new legislation would force them to compromise security and quality, while smaller companies claim they will finally be able to compete on their own merits if big tech's gatekeeper status is loosened. For more, see The Verge. Israeli police use Pegasus spyware on citizens. According to an exclusive report by Israeli business newspaper Calculist, Israeli police used NSO Group's Pegasus spyware to remotely hack citizens' phones. Calculist says that those who have had their phones hacked include mayors, former government employees, a person close to the senior politician, and leaders of political protest against former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Calculist also claims that the hacking was done without warrants or any court supervision. Israeli police rejected the hacking claims as untrue, but it did not deny using Pegasus as a tool. Lazarus stole nearly $400 million in cryptocurrency in 2021. North Korean cyber group Lazarus stole $395 million in crypto coins last year, which was a full $100 million more than its previous year's take, according to an investigation by blockchain analysts firm Chainalysis. The value of cryptocurrency has risen considerably over the last year, with Bitcoin rising 60% and Ethereum rising 80%. Most of the stolen funds were Ethereum, but Bitcoin representing about a fifth. Chainalysis says Lazarus stole the crypto over the course of 7 hacks into cryptocurrency exchanges and investment firms in 2021. Over the past 5 years, North Korean hackers have made $1.5 billion in cryptocurrency thefts alone. For more, see Ars Technica. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. The often exploited remote desktop protocol is once again in the news. This time, it has a new attack vector that was discovered by researchers and subsequently patched earlier this month by Microsoft. For more on this, read the full story in the Avast blog or watch my video on this topic on my YouTube channel. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Bob. That was a great report. We look forward to seeing you in person next week. Now let's move on, and I've got something for you today. We're going to talk about podcasting. Let's see what I have to say about that. Oh, hi. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. I was just listening to a podcast as I was waiting. It's so interesting because you can listen to music, technical stuff. Podcasts have such a great variety of topics that you can just put your mind at ease, and you don't have to look at a screen. You can just sort of sit there and listen to the audio. They really work out very well. If you don't listen to podcasts, I would encourage you to do so. You know, of course, at Tech for Senior, we are super excited about our new podcast that, of course, we've been putting out for the past 2 weeks. It's getting pretty popular now, so you might want to try it. But a lot of you probably don't know what podcasts are. Maybe you've never podcasted before. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to talk about different podcasting services and how you can easily listen to podcasts. So let's start today with Google Podcasts. Let me show you how to do it. All right, let's see how to see a podcast on our Windows 10 machine. Could also be a Chromebook as well. Let's have a look. Let's come up to our little 9-dot menu. We're in our Chrome browser. We're going to come up to our little 9-dot menu here. Let's click this. Now we're going to see all our programs that we have. These are all our Google programs. As I come down here, you'll see that I have the option of one that says Podcasts. Now remember, we can move these and change these around. So I'm just going to move this up to the top because I want to keep it up there because I'm listening to podcasts all the time. So I'm just going to keep it up here. Let's click on this. And this is going to bring up my podcasts that I can listen to through this this app. So if we look at our my subscriptions that I have on this particular podcast app, see, I'm listening to the Tech Guy, the Daily News, and Tech Briefings. Now let's look down and see what we have here. Well, we have Google has made some suggestions for me, and there are some suggestions here. I have options where Google has grouped podcasts that I might be interested in. So let's have a look what our options are. We have popular trending, and these are some suggestions they have for me. Top podcasts in society and culture. Top podcasts in comedy. Certainly we have a good laugh these days. Top podcasts in news and politics. Top podcasts in sports and recreation. Top podcasts in education. Top podcasts in business. And of course, one that I'm interested in is top podcasts in technology. So let's come back up to the top here. I wonder if Tech for Senior is here. Let me just type in and let's do a search, because you can now search across all the podcasts and different services. So let me just type in Tech for Senior. And we're going to type and click enter. Well, look what we found. Yes, indeed. We found our podcast, Tech for Senior Live. Here it is right here, seen on the Google network here, the new Google Podcast Network. So I'm going to click the little button here that says subscribe. Now, let's come back and we'll come out of this. And let's just refresh this. And here we are. We have now subscribed to the Tech for Senior podcast, so you can listen to us. So if we click this, it now shows that we have, this is the information, the preamble that I've written about our podcast. And it tells us that there are available episodes, of course. We have 2 episodes Of course, the live episode on episode 42 that was recorded on January 13th. And of course, we have Tech for Senior live pocket episode 41. So these, and if we want to listen to them, we just click this and it's going to load up. And there we go. It's going to play. So those are the, so coming back now, if we want to come back, we just come over here and we just click here. And of course, it brings up our podcasts. And now we have subscribed to Tech for Senior. Now, you, of course, could do this on a Chromebook. You could do it on an iPad, anywhere where Chrome is. And you just have the 9-dot menu where you have all your Google apps, which of course are in your Google account. You can just click this 9-dot menu and you'll be able to get to your podcast. So this is podcasting through Google. And we're going to show you over the next few weeks different podcast services that you can use and how you'd find Tech for Senior on different podcast services. All right, let's have a look and see how we're going to get the Google podcast on our smartphone. I'm going to use my Pixel 3 and show you how this works on Android 12. So here we are. We're going to go to the Play Store. We're going to type in Google Podcast. And there it is, Google Podcast. So we're going to, it says right at the top, Google Podcast. And here we are. And of course, it shows that I have, in fact, already installed this. So we're simply going to click Open, and this will open it up. And now look at the top. Let's see what's happened. Yes, there's Tech for Senior, of course, the Tech Guy, and of course the same 4 subscriptions that you saw on my PC. So that's pretty cool. So now if we want to listen to Tech for Senior, we just click here. It tells me we're subscribed. These are the shows again, and if we want to play it, well, that's podcasting with Google. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. We'll see you next week when we talk about some other podcasting services. Try it out. Listen to some podcasts. Have some fun. Till next week, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. All right. So hopefully everyone can try out some podcasts between now and next week and listen to some interesting ones. There's lots of interesting ones. There's thousands and thousands out there. So I'm sure you'll find some topics that you'll be interested in. All right. Bob is got a Windows 11 tip for us today. So let me just share my screen and we are going to see what Bob has for our Windows 11 tip.
The Windows 11 taskbar. We used the taskbar, which was the part that was always on the left. And then we had the system tray, which was the icons to the right. Now in Windows 11, by default, your start menu, or the taskbar, is in the middle. So there's no left and right. And the whole thing is now called the taskbar. And it's split up into several components. You have your start menu. You have your search bar. You have your desktops, where you can set up several different desktops or work areas. You have your widgets. You have your chat. And then you have the shortcuts that you've pinned to the bottom task manager, such as your browsers, file manager, and whatever else you've decided to pin to the taskbar. Some of us have more, some of us have less. And what's on the right side, what we used to call the system tray, that's also now been called by different things, but it's all part of the task bar. In here, you have your clock and notification. You have your action bar. You also have quick ways to get to things like your speaker, your internet connection, your microphone, and the items that you've decided to pin to the bottom, the programs that start up when the system starts, and those items that you have decided to hide. And if you click on this up arrow, you see the items that are hidden. You right click on any empty spot on the taskbar, you get to go to the taskbar settings. When you open that, here, if you scroll down to where it says taskbar corner overflow, select it, and now you can see all of the items that are residing in this right-hand side of the taskbar. If it says on, they're visible. If they're off, they're the ones that pop up when you click on the overflow or the hidden parts. If I click this, I see here that I have Microsoft Teams and Power Toys. And if you look here, you'll see that Power Toys are off, and so is Microsoft Teams off, which means, yes, they're still running in the background, but they aren't showing up on the right-hand side of the taskbar. You have to hit that up caret in order to actually see them and be able to access them. Little different from what it was in 10 and prior, but everything is still there. Everything can still be accessed. You can still turn items on and off, and you can still hide or show the items on that right side of the taskbar. Anything new, eventually you'll have to learn how to navigate in something new. I'm sure that Microsoft figured this was a better way to handle things. And as you get used to it, it's just as easy as it used to be when you were using Windows 10 or 8, 8.1 or 7. It's just a matter of getting used to the new things that are part of Windows 11. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bob. That was, and we'll be having a Windows tip each week now from there are different people doing the Windows tip. So we will be having could be a Windows 10 or a Windows 11 tip. Hewie, are you ready to roll?
I am always ready to roll.
Very good.
Tech for Seniors present the website of the week with Hewie Poplock.
Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Website of the week. This is number 8. I'm Hewie Poplock. Today we're going to look at a website called stilltasty.com. They say it's your ultimate shelf life guide. You'll notice there's quite a few ads and there's no way to shut them off, but it's a free service. In order to pay for a free service, a website has ads. So there are ads to the left, to the side, and to the bottom. You can't turn them off. So let's take a look at this website. Keep it or toss it. This is the part of the website that I originally came here for, and that is how long will your favorite food or beverage stay safe and tasty? What's the best way to store it? Get answers for thousands of items. Let's try Apple first. When you click it, you get a lot of choices. And you see if I go all the way to the bottom of the page, anything that's got the word Apple in it is showing up there. And of course, there's an ad at the bottom and an ad at the side. But let's say I want to know, what about commercially frozen? No, we want fresh, raw, and whole. In other words, I just bought some apples at the grocery store today. How long can I keep them? When I click on it, if I keep the apples in the pantry, it'll last 5 to 7 days. If I keep them in the refrigerator, 1 to 2 months. And if I freeze them, 10 to 12 months. And then they give you some tips. How long do apples last? The precise answer to that question depends upon to a large extent on the storage conditions. To extend the shelf of apples, refrigerate in a plastic bag. How long do apples last in the refrigerator? Properly stored, apples will usually keep well from 1 to 2 months in the fridge. The shelf life of apples can be extended to 6 months or more if the apples are stored in an area where the temperature is between 30 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit, with high humidity, difficult to find in most households. Can you freeze apples? Yes, and they tell you how to do it. It's an all-encompassing information about different items. Let's take a look at some other items here. And let's say, what about onions? I bought some onions today. Onions, all varieties except sweet, including yellow, white, pearl, fresh, raw, and whole. So that's what I bought today. Let's see how long I can keep them. 2 to 3 months in the pantry, 2 to 3 months in the refrigerator. So it doesn't really matter where you keep them. And then if you want to freeze them, 6 to 8 months. Let's look at another. Let's look at hard-boiled egg. Probably wants it together, but let's take a look and search. Oh, there it is. Eggs cooked, hard-boiled. They'll stay in the refrigerator for a week. So if you hard-boil eggs, don't plan on keeping them more than a week. So don't do the whole dozen if you're only going to do one a day. I get Chinese takeout quite often. How long can I keep it in the refrigerator if I don't eat it all? Chinese food, sweet and sour pork. Homemade or takeout. 3 to 4 days in the refrigerator, and I can freeze it for 3 to 4 months. And it gives you some information. And the freezer time shown is for best quality only. Leftover sweet and sour pork that has been kept constantly frozen at 0 degrees Fahrenheit will keep safe indefinitely. Of course, you're going to probably get freezer burn. Okay, I must have spelled it wrong, but they kind of figured out what I meant, so I'll click it. And horseradish, prepared, commercially bottled, sold unrefrigerated. I usually get it refrigerated, but as I recall, but let's take a look and see what they say. 3 to 4 months. So if you've got any horseradish in your refrigerator that's more than 4 months old, you probably ought to toss it. And we'll try one more. Let's try flour. I don't use much flour at home, but occasionally if I'm going to roast a turkey, I want to do it in one of those roasting bags, and you have to put just a couple of spoonfuls of flour in there. So if I get flour, how long can I keep it? Flour, white, all-purpose, unopened or open package. It will last 1 year in the pantry. If I kept it in the refrigerator, it would probably last 2 years. But 1 year, so if I'm using it for this Thanksgiving and use a couple of spoonfuls, and then next year go to use it, if I've kept it in the pantry, I probably shouldn't use it. I should get fresh. If it's been in the refrigerator, I probably can use it that second year. Let's take a look at roast beef in the deli. I like to go to Publix and get their roast beef. And it's sliced at the grocery counter. So we'll click that. Once you purchase it, it's only good for 3 to 5 days. So you don't want to get too much and have it last longer. That you then should probably get rid of it. And you can freeze the deli meat for 1 to 2 months. And it gives you information. How long does roast beef deli last in the freezer? Properly stored, it will maintain best quality 1 to 2 months, but will remain safe beyond that time. Now, what else on this website is there? That's the keep it or toss it. And then you have your questions answered. You can go to the keep it or toss it, which is the main page, and you can browse the shelf life information by category. So if you were going to look at dairy and eggs, you click that. You can see that there's quite a few items, and there's actually at least 8 pages of results under dairy and eggs. Okay, butter, unopened or open package. How long can you keep butter? 1 month after sell-by date. And you can freeze butter 6 to 12 months. There is a section called Your Questions Answered. So somebody has asked questions, and here is, are eggs still safe after the expiration date? And it says, yes, your eggs should be fine, provided you have been storing them properly. And they do tell you how to store them properly. But there are several other questions. If you aren't quite sure what to look for to begin with, you can use these as a starting point. And there's some good questions. Can you refreeze thawed chicken? Answer, it's fine to refreeze the chicken breasts as long as you thawed them in the refrigerator and kept them there for no more than 2 days. Refreezing is not an option if the chicken wasn't thawed in the refrigerator to begin with. So that's under the Your Questions Asked. Under Shelf Talk, there are some blogs or articles that they also have posted here. Power outages, how long does food last in the fridge and freezer? Let's take a look at that. All foods at least 4 hours if the fridge is left unopened. In other words, if you leave it closed. Discard after 4 hours without power, meat, poultry, fish, milk, eggs, cooked leftovers, soft cheeses, deli cold cuts, salads, and other perishable goods. Still safe after 4 hours, things like ketchup and mustard and relishes and jams and so on, you see what's there. And then you can check with the U.S. Department of Agriculture Food Safety and Inspection Service website for an extensive list of what to keep or discard. And then Still Tasty in the news is just where is this website been talked about? I wonder if they'll add us to their website. That's it. Still Tasty, your ultimate shelf life guide, your website of the week. I'm Hewie Poplock. And one thing to add there, a lot of you travel a lot. A lot of you go back and forth between two homes. And one way to check to see if your freezer was down at all is take some kind of a container, put some water in it, fill it about 3/4 full, and then put a quarter on top of it and put it in after it's frozen. Put a quarter on top of it. And then when you go away, when you come back, if that quarter's still on the top, your freezer has been functioning the whole time. But if you see it's somewhere in the middle or down at the bottom, that means it thawed, the quarter dropped, and then refroze when it turned back on. With that, Rod, turn it back to you.
That's a great idea. Wow, that's really, yeah, that's a cool idea. I'm going to do that. That's great. All right, listen, I'm going to teach everyone now how to look better in Zoom. Yeah, this is cool. You should have fun with this. Hopefully everybody likes it. Let's share my screen and we'll see how we do with this. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Looking better in Zoom. Wouldn't we all like to look better in our Zoom meetings? Well, I'm going to show you through photography how we can certainly improve that. In fact, I've made a 3-part series to help you. The first part is we're going to look at webcams, things that you can do with your webcam to make you look better. Part 2 is going to be where we take other cameras that you have around the house, maybe some DSLRs or something like that, and I'm going to show you how to hook them up and use them as a webcam. And then part 3 is going to be using your cell phone for a webcam. So if you are trading or upgrading your cell phone this year, don't trade it in for $30 because you have an unbelievable webcam there that we can hook up and use it. Yes, it's going to be great. So 3 parts over the next 3 weeks on looking better in Zoom. And you know, the fun thing about this is it's not going to cost you any money. Well, maybe a little bit, but not a lot. These are things that you can do around your house or with existing equipment. So let's get on with it. All right, what I'd like everyone to do is look around on your screen. I want you to look at everyone. Look at their cameras, look at how they're sitting. Are they smiling? Are they frowning? Is it too bright? Is it too dark? Maybe they've got half their picture, or maybe they don't have a picture up. Have a look around and look at the different screen images. And then we're going to look at how we can improve this. All right, as you looked around the room, you probably see some people that are sitting in the dark. Well, of course, if you're in the dark, you don't look very good on a camera. Let's turn the lights on. And if it's too bright, you don't look very good on the camera. And if you're sitting part on and off the camera, That doesn't look very good either. All right, let's talk about cameras. If you have a laptop, then you're going to have a camera usually at the top of your screen, and this is called a rear-facing camera as compared to a forward-facing camera that would be on the other side of your laptop. Most laptops have rear-facing cameras, and they're mostly meant for Zoom calls, not photography. If you have a PC, then you're probably going to have a webcam connected to your PC. So what is a webcam? Well, a webcam is a camera that plugs into the USB in your computer and just works. In other words, you can take a camera and take the signal and picture of a camera and just plug it in, and it works on your PC. So you'll probably have one of those two. Most of you, I gather here, will have laptops and be using the built-in cameras that are usually at the top, although they can be at the bottom of the screen. All these cameras will give you pretty darn good pictures. They'll be quite clear, and the color won't be bad at all, but they need light. You need to, for these cheaper cameras, you need light, lots of light. So what my advice to you is, if you have a light in the ceiling, turn it on. If you have a floor lamp, turn it on. If you have curtains and the curtains are closed, open the curtains and get more light in the room. If you light the room up, your camera on your laptop or even on your webcam will get a lot better. They don't do well in darkness. So throw the light at it. Yes, you may have to turn it around on the table because you don't want, of course, the sun blaring in on the back of you because you'll never see your image. But so you have to turn it around on the other side of the table. But if you want to simply improve the image, put more light in the room. Now, yes, you can get clip-on lights, little ring lights. These, you can buy these for $15 or $20. These are on, you can buy them on Amazon. There's tons of them around, and they just clip on top of your monitor or on top of your laptop, and they'll give you some great pictures and great light and great pictures. So you don't have to spend a lot of money, but just turn on the lights, and you will find that your pictures will immediately get a lot better. So you will get much better pictures if you clean your cell phone, if you clean your webcam, or if you clean the screen on your laptop. Taking images through a dirty lens will never give you a good picture. Now, there are a lot of commercial products that you can use on your laptop for cleaning your screen. I'm not going to go into these today, but there are safe, easy to use products that you can pick up at Best Buy or on Amazon. It's important that you don't use Windex or paper towel or anything harsh, because all these glass surfaces have very protective coating on them. Best Buy recommends you just take a microfiber cloth, spray a little water on it, and just wipe it easily over the screen. Staying away from the edges, of course, because you don't want any water to get down into the electronics of your device. This would be a very bad thing. But please keep your lenses clean. It will give you a much better picture. All right, the third way to improve your image is position your laptop. Now, in this example, I call this the up your nose look or the nasal hair look. Neither of them are very flattering. So it's much better if the camera is looking down on your face rather than up. Now, most people who have laptops and who have the rear-facing cameras in their laptops leave them on a desk, and often they're looking down at the camera or their laptop. This will give you the up the nose look. And as you can see in this example, on the left side is the up your nose look, and on the right side is where your camera should be, higher up. Now with a laptop, it's often easier just to lift it up. Put a couple of books under it, lower your seat down. Try to get the camera so it's coming down onto your face rather than looking up. And try not to look down at the camera. The best way to position your camera if you have a webcam is to clip it on top of your monitor in the center. Then you do have to look up a little bit and look at the camera, but you'll get a much better picture than an up your nose look. Now, the other thing you'll see on my screen is a little tag, and it says smile, smile. And that's one thing you always have to remember, is to smile. If you're on camera, smiling makes your picture so much better. So just think about that next time you're having a Zoom meeting. I own two Logitech cameras. I own the Logitech HD C310, and I own the Logitech HD Pro C920. So what the heck's that all about? Well, up until 3 years ago, I didn't do much video recording and barely used the cameras. In fact, the 920 sat in an unopened box. When the pandemic hit, webcams became very scarce. And I kept seeing all these reports of the C920 going from about $59, which it is today, up to people were paying $400 for this camera. When Hewie and I started Tech for Senior, I took the two cameras out. I took the Logitech C310 and I took the 920 out, connected them together, and I liked the image and picture that the Logitech 310 gave me. I just plugged them in, looked at them, and I said, I like that picture better. So as time went on, I got a bit more interested in 920. I thought, what the heck is going on with this camera? Why is it so expensive? Well, then I hooked the camera up and explored it, and found out that there's software that comes with these cameras. And it's incredible software. It's amazing software what you can do. And once I adjusted the software on the 920, it became obvious that it was a very amazing camera. And even today, the Logitech C920 is one of the best webcams that you can purchase today. It's been around for a long time. The Logitech has sold millions and millions of these cameras, and I think it is the staple of webcams in the industry today. And that's the Logitech C920. When I started using the C920, it was great. I could pan forward, I could pan back, and I'm going to give you a bit of a demonstration in a minute. But it did some pretty incredible things, and so I was really happy that I'd switched and was now using the C920. The problem that I had is that most of my recordings were done in Zoom. And so when I got into my Zoom meeting, I wanted to pan forward, I wanted to change the color, I wanted to do some adjustments, but the Logitech software said, sorry, the camera is in use by another app, and that of course was Zoom. And because the Logitech C920 had been around for a long time, even way before Zoom, the software had never allowed two sources to work the camera. This became really a big problem for the first year I used my C920. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because Logitech has new software for it, and I wanted to make you aware, if you do use this camera, please download the Logitech C922 software. I'll put the link in the show notes, because this is an updated software that will allow you to use your 920 with Zoom, and you can actually adjust all the features that I'm going to show you while you're in a Zoom meeting. So this is the Logitech C922 Pro Stream webcam control. Now you'll see that we have a number of options for us. We can actually zoom in. Let's see how that works. There we go. And we can actually move the camera to the left, or we can move the camera to the right. So you have a lot of control over how the camera is going to look. Let's go to the advanced setting. Now with the brightness, we can turn the color down, we can turn the color up. We can adjust this. We have contrast, and of course we have autofocus, so we can manually focus it, or we can of course leave it on autofocus. We have color intensity and auto white balance to change that. All right, so please remember the software. Software comes with your webcams, and you can actually improve the picture quality by making some adjustments. So please remember, if you are using the most popular webcam that's made today, the Logitech C920, that you use the updated software. It's the same software that's used for the C922, and I'll put a link below. Part 1, looking better in Zoom. Next week, I'll talk about why I just purchased a new webcam made by a company called Elgato, and it is a face cam. I'm also going to explore other cameras that you have around the house, maybe some DSLRs that you can hook up to your computer and use as webcams. And that's all going to happen next week. So it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. You know, please remember the like and subscribe thing. It's so important that you like it. And if you really want to see us continue making videos like this, please subscribe to the channel. So until next week, Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. All right.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
I like that.
More to come, as they say in showbiz, more to come. I just want to, before we get to Ray with his music, I want to just say goodbye to our YouTube fans. If you, we're going to be stopping the live stream now. If you want to pop over, and there's what we got 80 in the room today, so there's still lots of room. Come on over and you participate in the Q&A, which will be starting at top of the hour. If not, we will see you same time, same place next week. All right, Ray, take her away.
Today's title is called A Different Kind of Church Music. Without a doubt, out of all of the doo-wop or vocal group songs that came out of the 1950s, In the Still of the Night by the Five Satins, that was from 1956, is by far the most popular. Now, there's a reason for that intentional misspelling of the last word in the song title, because that was so it would not be confused with the Cole Porter song of the same exact title. Now, the song's writer was Fred Paris, who was 19 years old at the time, and he was in the U.S. Army. And on military guard duty in Philadelphia, he put pen to paper and wrote this song thinking of his girlfriend, who he never saw again because she had moved to California. While on leave back at home in New Haven, Connecticut, his group wanted to record the song, but could not find a location with the right acoustics. A member of the group, who was an altar boy at St. Bernadette Roman Catholic Church, convinced the pastor to let the group use the basement on a Sunday afternoon following church services. Soon after the recording, Paris stripped off to Japan. So when the song became a moderate hit, he was not available to go on tour. He returned to the US in 1958, formed a new Five Satins group, and started touring. But the British invasion and other changes in the public's musical taste had Paris leave the music business. But in 1969, at a doo-wop revival show at Madison Square Garden, the Five Satins reformed, and from that point on, they were in demand for oldies shows. Now, the song In the Still of the Night reached number 24 in 1956 on the national pop charts, but its popularity grew for many years to come. For 3 decades, this song almost always topped the top 500 song countdown on New York oldies radio station WCBS-FM. Who can remember in 1986, Ronnie Milsap released Lost in the 50s Tonight, where he uses words from the song as part of the chorus. The song was part of the Dirty Dancing soundtrack in 1987 and was recorded by Boyz II Men in 1991. Now, as recently as 2019, it was part of the soundtrack for the movie The Irishman. Now, I actually watched The Irishman last night, as Joe Pesci and De Niro in it. So if you liked Goodfellas, you will like The Irishman. And the song In the Still of the Night in that movie was featured not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. In 2019, PBS sponsored a fundraising broadcast titled Doo-Wop Generations, which showcased legends in doo-wop along with up-and-coming vocal talent. So in the 3 CD box that I purchased at the time, there's a scene where Fred Paris returns to St. Bernadette Church, where it all began. At this point, he's 82 years old, and I'm going to show that clip now, and I believe that is the last time he sang his famous song in a public setting, as he died last week, unfortunately, at the age of 85. Here we go. 82 years old.
Wow. That's
That was
incredible,
great.
eh?
In the late 50s, I DJ'd at record hops, and that was always the last song of the night, was always In the Still of the Night.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, we did it again. It's top of the hour and another week has gone by. Amazing, eh? Now, if you have to run off and you're not going to be staying for the question and answer, please remember our premiere service starts at 1/2 this hour. And this week, I'll be talking on noise reduction, as Hewie said earlier, on CRISP, KRISP, a software that you can load and it will help you with background noise, filtering out that. We have Marshall Dubois talk last year, about a year ago, on planning for a medical emergency. Great talk. Thanks, Marshall. We're going to replay that. And there are lots of interesting things there. And of course, if you want to listen to Murray had that crazy good scanning app that on his phone that he scanned books and it took out all the creases and everything and stored the image on your phone. Really interesting. So we have three things going on for you. If you want to know how to get there, just go over to Tech for Senior, hit the little button, it'll take you right to our site, and away you go. It'll be on our channel at 1/2 the hour. So if you come back, and we also record that, so if you miss it, you can come back and see it. So I'm going to open it up now for any questions you have. A lot of material today we covered in the show. If you have any questions for me or Hewie or anybody here, we're happy to answer your questions. Now, as you know, there's still about 75 people here. So if you wouldn't mind just going down to the reactions menu there, click that and raising your hand, because that pops you up and we can see you. You come right up to the top of the screen like Bill did. There's Bill. Boom. He goes right up to the top of the screen. And of course, Bill has a question. So that makes it real easy for us in trying to get this organized for you. So
Ron, Dorothy had her hand up like this.
Right. Okay.
Apparently she couldn't get it to put the other hand up, but she was.
Do you want to do first. Dorothy first, or do you want to do Bill first?
Yeah, let's do Dorothy first.
Okay, Dorothy, go ahead.
For you guys that like boogie woogie music, I have found the best ever, and it's called Dr. K, and it's Bad Ass Boogie, and he's in London, England, and I think he plays in Heathrow Airport, and he can make that piano walk all over that daggum airport. It is worth the trip without having to fly over there.
It's a website. Then, Dorothy, is that a website?
Yeah.
Or is it a YouTube video?
It's all one word. Bad Ass Boogie.
Is that a YouTube video or is it a website?
What?
Is it a YouTube video or a website?
No, it's a live website.
Oh, it's a live website. Oh, okay, good.
I think that he must be a custodian in the Heathrow. And they evidently have 2 or 3 pianos in where the people walk back and forth. Unfortunately, they were not there the last time I was in Heathrow, but I can blow a whole morning just listening.
Yeah, many airports around the country now have that, where they have pianos there, and they encourage those who are going for their plane to take a minute, stop by, and try it out.
Oh, good. Oh, that's
cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't flown for several years and probably won't for several more.
Yeah. Bill, go ahead. Bill H, go ahead. Just hit the space bar and unmute.
Do you
space bar doesn't seem to work.
Oh, okay. You figured it out though, because you're unmuted.
Yeah. Okay. Did Dorothy have something else there?
I don't think so. Dorothy, did you have anything more?
I was going to try to post it, but I'm on a laptop today and it is acting very squirrely.
All right. Thanks, Dorothy. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, your comment on subjects that people would like to have. I'd like to see more on electric cars. I know there's people like John Wayland around that's been doing them for years, and be interesting to hear their memories. He had a car called the White Zombie that was the fastest street legal electric car for years. And also, I think there's some people up there in the Vancouver area that you might have contact with, Ron, that would have memories.
Yeah, I mean, I think electric cars would be great to talk about. The only, except when we did I did a poll last week or a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "How many of you got electric cars?" And Mike Unger was the only one that said he did. So I guess if I have to go out and buy an electric car to do a talk on it, your rates are going to go up. I'm going to have to buy a $60,000 electric car to do some talks on it. I'm sorry, where donations are going to have to go up.
And we're gonna fight on who gets the car.
Yeah, right.
Actually, our son has had 3 electric cars now, and right now, since COVID, he doesn't have any electrics because they don't go anywhere.
Right.
But he found that leasing them in the San Jose area was more economical than actually owning them. But he has his own charging station and everything there.
Yeah. Oh, there's lots we could talk about. I mean, it's a huge topic, lots of very interesting topics that could come up out of that. And I guess my concern would be, first of all, is that something maybe I'll do a poll next week if somebody's interested, is that a topic that would be interesting for everyone? And then, we need to get some people that need, that have an electric car. Maybe I can twist Mike's arm and see if he'll do a talk on it, because there's lots of interesting stuff.
I have a lot of pictures from electric car drags in Woodburn through the years that they had it there. And there was some really neat stuff there. There was a go-kart there that ran on a 12-volt battery all day, and everybody was trying it. But people say, well, they're too expensive, or it's in the future. And these people didn't know that. They just used them and ran them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of fun. Also, the drones, you asked about that one time, and Ken's Carpentry on YouTube just passed his drone license and posted a session on his experience about that. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, and I have a drone. I've got all the equipment here. I have the DJ, Mavic 2, and I'm getting my drone license, and I'm doing all that. So that is future videos coming. I've got that in my back pocket that I'll be doing. The problem with drones, at least the problem in this area, is there's too darn many airports. You can't fly around airports. And so that really, really limits, plus the national parks, provincial national parks, you can't fly in there. So it limits the area that you can fly these darn things.
Can you fly those, say, within 50 feet of your own property just to practice or anything?
No, and you see, with the DJI Mavic Mini 2, well, I imagine all DJIs, it won't let you take off if you're in a controlled air zone. And so I'm actually, my house, I'm not really close to the airport, but it is within the category 1 or whatever they call zones where you can't fly. So even though I want to just fly it on my property and maybe go up 50 feet, I haven't tried it, but I don't think the Mavic, I don't think it'll even take off.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So
that's disappointing.
Yeah, well, it is. It's a big problem on where you fly these things. It is indeed. So lots more on that. So we're going to talk a lot about, because I think drones are cool stuff and, really lots of fun. And particularly drone photography is great. I want to get some cool, I want to have the drone come down as I do my intros, and say, oh, by the way, look what happened. And then, I'll say, and invite you to Tech for Senior, and it'll all be with a drone, right? But that's coming, but we'll see.
Yeah, Karen's been watching a fellow from, I think it's Sweden, that he's been flying his through the snowy trees.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost, you sit there in your chair and just about bounce around as he goes through these trees.
Yeah, lots of fun.
So, okay,
all right.
thanks.
Thanks.
Mike
Okay.
Swift says in the chat box, he has the same issue with drones in his area. Unless it's an ultralight, he can't fly it anywhere nearby. So
Yeah. All right, Greg.
Hey, for the lady with the jazz or with the boogie woogie, we volunteered for about 40 years as volunteers at the Jazz Festival. And we met a lady, her name is Carolyn Dahl, Dahl, and she is deemed in the United States for the last 30 years as Miss Boogie Woogie. She has won numerous contests. Just for her own information, if she wants to look her up, Carolyn Dahl.
Is she a dancer or a musician?
No, she's a musician. She plays with Tom Rigney's band Flambeau. It's kind of a Cajun jazz. He's got he graduated from Harvard. Tom did in music, and he plays with a violin, a fiddle, and he's second to none. He was asked when he got out of Harvard to teach at Juilliard, and he said no, he was going to go into recording. His dad played second base for Chicago Cubs for quite a few years, and then managed the Giants in the 50s. Anyway,
Dorothy
is.
Go ahead.
She is really the lady. And if you ever met her or saw her, she is fantastic.
Yeah, Dorothy did put the link in the chat box. Also in the chat box, Mike Ungerman had a couple of comments that I would like to get in here. He says, my electric is actually a Kia plug-in hybrid, not a full electric, but I get 26 miles on the electric before it switches to gas hybrid. And then he also said the nice feature is we have a rooftop solar system. So on sunny days, I can charge it for free.
Yes, I wonder how that would work in the foggy Comox Valley that we have today. Anyway, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I discovered a few things with the space bar for mute in Zoom that don't work quite the way they should do or they're supposed to, because it says to press the space bar, but it depends on what the focus is on. If you've clicked the video controls and you press the space bar, it'll turn your video on and off. If you had chat up and you've been typing something and you press space bar, you'll just get a space in your text. It won't control,
right.
It won't control the audio for the mute. So that function that they've claimed on there, press space bar, only works at the beginning if you haven't touched anything else.
Good point. Good point. Thanks so much. You're right. Yeah, that's a good hint. Yes, for sure. Thanks. That
I
makes
don't know
sense.
if that's something that they know about or whether they're going to fix, but hopefully they do, because there are situations where it gets really irritating.
Well, sure. If you're sitting in the chat and you want to speak and you're hitting the space bar, all you're doing is putting spaces in the chat, right?
That's right. That's what happened yesterday.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks so much. That's a really good tip. I've never heard anyone say that before, but that's a really good tip. Yes, indeed. Thanks a lot. Did we get all your answers about backups done? I thought you didn't comment on the great debate last week that I won.
No, I couldn't do because we had 3 feet of snow here.
Oh yeah.
Within the space of about 2 hours, we got 3 feet to come down.
Okay.
But it took 2 of us with snow shovels and 2 snow blowers and a tractor with a front end loader. The whole 2 whole day, 11 hours altogether just to clear the driveway.
Just to clear, yeah.
Yeah, so
There you go.
I missed the whole thing and had to watch it off YouTube.
Okay, you couldn't vote then. You couldn't vote.
No.
All right. Well, Hewie and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we sure did.
But I mean, telling people that they don't need to do backups, I thought, well, yeah, that's like telling people you don't need car insurance to drive a car.
Right.
I mean, it's okay as long as nothing goes wrong, but who's got a computer that nothing ever goes wrong?
Right.
They sure as hell don't make them, and they sure as heck don't put Microsoft on them.
Thanks, Steve. Dorothy, go ahead.
Oh, hi there. I was going to say that was a great presentation on podcasts. I think I had checked a while ago. Did your Tech for Senior just get on there?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What I do with all my old cell phones, I have them like, I have one in my exercise room here, and I download all the podcasts on it, and then I cast it to my minis to play. And I also download them for when I'm out walking. I know I could do it with my regular cell, but I quite often, like, you don't need Wi-Fi, so I just download it and walk around with my Bluetooth earbuds. So
You turn it
Yeah,
into an
and-
iPod.
yeah.
Well, what I'm going to show you, not next week, but the week after, is using them for webcam. They make unbelievable webcams, and you will get such a good picture as if you decide to use it as a webcam. So
Thank you.
we'll show you how to do that coming up. Go ahead, Carl.
Okay, I had unmute. Hey, I had experience with all electric car. It was before I could drive. I built a go-kart out of a Ford generator. I mean, a Ford starter motor from a junkyard in Detroit. And I picked that starter motor because it had a long shaft and you could put a pulley on it. And what I learned was that I could go to a friend of mine's house about a mile away and back and forth. And it was built out of bicycle wheels, so it had good brakes. And the steering was from actually from an automobile, gearing mechanism from the junkyard. And then I thought, well, I got a great idea. I would hook the generator up to it also. And I found out I could only go half as far. That's what I learned before I went to study electrical engineering at Lawrence Tech in Southfield, that the generator uses more energy than it puts out. And I learned all about efficiency. And my neighbor asked me, what was I trying to do? Build perpetual motion? I was probably about 15 years old. I didn't know what the word meant.
Well, Tesla might have snapped you up had you been, Tesla being around at that time, eh?
Well, I was way ahead of my time, I guess. But
yes, you were. Yes, you were.
It was a learning curve. I learned about efficiency, and that was a good experience.
Do you have any pictures of that? Did you take some pictures of it?
Well, I do have a picture. A friend of mine took it, and but it doesn't show the engine. I built a plywood oak front on it, and we didn't really have a camera when I was growing up in the 50s.
All right. Because I was going to say, just, if you can sometime, we'll just share your screen and you could show it to us. That'd be so good.
I wish I did. I have the car, but it's an exterior view. And
okay. All right. Dorothy, go ahead.
I just wanted to point out that jazz and boogie woogie are two entirely different kinds of music.
Okay. I see Greg's laughing there. He's smiling and, okay. Ray, is there an argument here? Do we need to where's our music guy? Where did Ray go?
Here I am. Music is so personal. The first criteria is how old are you? The second criteria is where were you raised? Those two ingredients really go a lot towards the kind of music that you like. Some of us, as we get older, we mature, we look for more refined music. Then there's people like me that have never grown up.
Then,
so,
what does that say about
and there's no right or wrong.
What does that say about, I grew up in Southern Alberta, and my favorite music has always been classical.
You're just a refined person, Murray.
I think Ray and I are a lot alike. I've grown older, but I haven't grown up.
I read an article today, and I'm always reading on music articles, that the music that is being played that on all the streaming services is not new music. New music is very low on the totem pole as far as what people are wanting to stream. They're all streaming music from the last century.
There you go. Listen, I want to give George the last word here before we go. We only have 1 minute left. George, do you have do you have a comment or question?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so ring lights around cameras.
Mhm.
I have a few LEDs around my camera. When I turn them on, I get a bit of a haze revealing my cataracts. With a larger diameter, this is a very small diameter ring light. So with a larger ring light, what's other people's experience with that?
Well, I will tell you, I've tested a lot of lights recently, and it really doesn't matter if you have, as far as webcams go, if you turn on overhead lights, you turn on lamps, you open, just make more light in the room. It doesn't have to be a ring light. Just turn on lights, and you'll immediately get a better camera, right?
But
Yeah.
also mention that a ring light that, like if you buy an actual ring light, it is got a sort of a diffuse surface. Whereas if you're just using a circle of LEDs, they're bright pinpoint lights and more likely to reflect off glasses and things like that and cataract.
And most of them have different settings where you can change the
color
glow
temperature.
and whether it's a bright white light or it's a little bit off white and so
Yeah,
on.
it changes the
there's-
color temperature.
Yeah.
Right. But most ring lights are meant so that you put your camera inside the ring light and it shines towards you, and that's how it works. But I'm going to tell you that you will get just as good pictures, just as good image, not pictures, but just with your webcam. If you turn on the light on the ceiling, or if you turn a floor lamp on, just turn on some every lights. You'll find it's nice and diffused. It'll look great. Just more light is better. All right. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. Well, I have lots of light normally, but
Yeah.
I was just thought, well, maybe I could throw a little more with these LEDs, but
All right.
definitely I can see the haze around the LEDs.
Yeah.
That's a result of cataracts. In fact, it's not a bad checkup on your cataracts.
There you go. And also, you don't have to have them pointed towards you. Point it up. Get it to bounce it off the ceiling. If you got enough light on there,
These are built right into the camera itself, so it can't
Right into the
point
camera,
directly
okay.
at me. I don't usually have them on. Like I just thought I'd test that, see if it throw a little more light in my face, but the haze around that interferes with my looking at the monitor because it's sitting clipped to my monitor.
All right, listen, it's 20 past. It's been a great week. It's a great show. Thank you all for coming. Please, half past the hour, go over to our premiere service and you'll hear some interesting topics today. Otherwise, we'll see you. Come and watch the show on Thursday. We're gonna have lots of fun. We're gonna have lots of fun on Thursday. Ray, can you come on Thursday?
I'll be there.
Hey, good man. So we'll be here. We'll have the usual gang on Thursday, and then learning.
And I'm hoping I'll be there.
Oh yeah. So when you're leaving, you'll be coming from the conference, right?
Right. I'll be in the press room of the FETC
cool.
conference.
Yeah. That'll be nice. And then that'll be great. And then learning Chromebooks will be right after that, and then we will see everybody next Monday, right? So anyway, we'll see you soon. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.